Alfred, I'm very sorry about before. So to make it up to you, please accept my skateboard.
It's just what I've always wanted.
Promise me you'll only use it to perform the sickest of tricks.
This is pretty cool.
Pretty cool? This is amazing! I don't know what to put my grubby paws on first! Ah!
It's pizza time.
Huh?
Hey all you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here, and once again I'm back in the review studio, and for today I'm taking a look at the brand new DC Collectibles Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles animated movie Alfred and Michelangelo figure 2-pack. Now this set is being sold as a GameStop exclusive. It comes in the same style of packaging we've seen with all the figures in this series. So you've got the black box, the figures are clearly displayed in the window packaging. Down below you've got the animated movie logo and the names of the characters. On the side of the packaging you've got that turtle shell, and it tells us the Alfred figure was sculpted by Josh Sutton and the Michelangelo figure was sculpted by Jonathan Matthews. And then on the back of the packaging you've got to look at all the figures in the series, as well as a brief bio about the movie and the two figures themselves. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figures outside the packaging along with the other contents. And first of all, let me just say a big thanks to the folks at DC Collectibles for sending me this set so I could review it for you guys. And be sure to check back either tomorrow or Monday. I will be reviewing the 5th and final 2-pack in this series, which features Shredder and Ra's al Ghul. So let's start off by taking a close look at the accessories that come in this set, specifically with Michelangelo. He comes with a number of different things, including multiple pairs of hands. He has 3 pairs of hands, so you get a pair of closed-fisted hands. Those are the ones that are attached to the figure when you take it out of the packaging. Then you get this pair of grip hands for holding his weapons. And then finally you get this pair of open hands. Now because he's a turtle, he only has 2 fingers and a thumb. But nice detailing. You can even make out the sculpting detail with the fingernails, which is nice, and you've got the wrinkles on the skin and such. So I think they've done a good job, and the green matches up with the rest of the figure, which I'll show you in just a second. Next up, Michelangelo comes with a skateboard, and we see this in the movie. At the end, he ends up giving it to Alfred. And overall detailing on it's nice. You've got this rough pattern where the feet would go, and then it's smooth for the rest of the board, a brown color, and then a darker color for this padding on the top. And then on the bottom, you've got the guards, the bumper guards on the front and the back, or on the back and the sides, I should say. And then he's got some decals on the bottom of his board as well. And he's got the orange wheels. Now the wheels do not move, unfortunately. So, you know, you can kind of slide it, but it does not actually really move. You know, you just have to push it along. So it would have been nice maybe if they'd made the wheels actually roll. But otherwise, I think it's a good representation of the board that we see in the movie. Now the board does not have any foot pegs, nor do the figures have any peg holes. And I know I just said a minute ago it would be nice maybe if they made the wheels roll, but now the more I think about it, it's probably better that it doesn't. You can set the figure on the board and he actually stays on there pretty good, even though again there's no peg holes or foot pegs to secure the figure on there. But you can see I'm moving around and he has actually pretty good balance there. If you move it too much, he'd probably fall off. But if you tried to put him on your shelf with the board and the wheels actually rolled, he'd probably start moving and maybe even roll off the shelf. Michelangelo comes with a pair of nunchucks, his signature weapon, and both are exactly the same. So you've got the brown wrappings that are done just with brown plastic, but you do have some sculpting detail in the handles there. And then they've used an actual chain, which is nice with his nunchucks. And they seem to be, you know, the two handles seem to be secured pretty well. You know, wouldn't pull too much, but you know, you might break it if you pulled too hard. But for the most part, this seems to be pretty well made. And again, I do like that they actually used a real chain for the middle portion and not like plastic. And when he's not holding his weapons, they've given you these pouches on the sides of his belt that you can stick the nunchucks in there, which is where he keeps them stored, as you see in the movie, when he's not using them. And then the final accessory you get with Michelangelo is a slice of pizza, like we've seen with all the figures in this series up to this point. And it's the same type of pizza with the pepperoni and cheese on the top and a little bit of sauce, and then you can make out the crust on the back, and it's just made with a thin, rubbery type plastic. Now let's take a look at the accessories that come with the Alfred figure. Alfred comes with 4 different pairs of hands. All 4 pairs of hands have white gloves on. You can make out a little bit of skin tone around the wrist area where the glove and the arm actually meet. And with this, you get a pair of closed-fisted hands. Those are the ones that are attached to the figure when you first take it out of the packaging. Then you get this set of hands that almost looks like he's giving the A-OK sign, but this is really for holding the coffee cup that he comes with. It's almost like a tea drinking type pose for the hands. And then you get this open pair of hands where the fingers are just straight open. And then finally you get this pair of somewhat grip hands. Now these hands are actually a little bit different from one another. This one just has one finger pointing out a little bit, not straight out, but just a little bit, almost like a trigger finger. And then you have this hand that has 2 fingers that are kind of out a little bit. He comes with a coffee mug. It's just a white coffee mug. There's no paint detail on it. It is hollow there on the inside of the mug. And again, it's just a plain white mug. And then, as I mentioned before, the best pair of hands to use in order to have him hold the mug are those ones that look like he's giving the A-OK sign. And when you use those hands, he does hold the mug nice and tight, so you can make it look like he's drinking. And then the final accessory is that same type of slice of pizza that we've seen with all the figures in this line. Okay, now for the figures themselves. So we'll start off looking at the Alfred figure. So first of all, he's got, I would say this is very true to how he appears in the animated movie. The head, I would say, is loosely based on how he appears in the comics. That's what it reminds me of most. He's got, the bald head with the hair in the back of the head there, and it's done with a dark gray color. It's just a flat color. There's no wash or anything. He's got the eyebrows. He has kind of a snooty look on his face, but again, that's kind of in keeping with how he looked in the cartoon. He's got the little mustache. And overall, I think it looks good. His eyes are a little bit half closed, so I don't know. Again, I think it does a pretty good job of capturing how he actually looked in the cartoon. Then he's wearing the tuxedo butler type outfit. So he's got the bow tie with the collars, which look good. He's got the black stripes down the shirt with the buttons, and then he's got the vest. Now this is all one piece, so it's not like you can pull back the coat or anything. And so you've got the vest here, and then the coat, and then the shirt, and the tie, and everything. So it's all, pretty much one piece. You do have the tails on the back of the coat, which are, soft plastic and do have some flexibility. But the coat itself is pretty much attached to the shirt and everything. And then he's got just the black pants. He's got the white gloves, as I mentioned before. Even though on the actual hands you can see a little bit of skin, the sleeve of the shirt actually comes down, so you see very little skin between the arm and the glove. And then again, he's just got the straight black pants. And then he's got the shoes. These are in keeping with the cartoon. They do, on the figure, kind of look like tennis shoes to me. But if you actually watch the cartoon, this is pretty much how they look. You've got the laces with the white and the black, and so no real complaints there. So, I think they've done a good job with Alfred here and how he actually looked. He's very, tall and skinny, but that is, again, how he looked in the cartoon and generally how he's often portrayed in many of the different medias that he appears in. And then with Michelangelo, again, like with all the turtle figures, Michelangelo is very unique. Now, I do not have the Michelangelo that had the Batman cape on. That was the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. They kind of kicked off this line. I do not have this figure, so I can't give you a comparison or tell you the differences between the two. But for this one, I think it does a good job of capturing the character's likeness from the cartoon. He's got the shell, like we've seen with the other turtles, with kind of brownish color. And then you've got the darker brown line work there on the shell. And then on the back, you've just got the dark color with even more darker in the lines. So nice detailing there. He's got the pouches on the belt for holding his nunchucks. He's got the little M on his belt buckle for Michelangelo. He's got a little bit different green tone than the other turtles. He's got the big square elbow pads and knee pads, and that is, again, in keeping with the cartoon. And he's got the 2 toes, the 2 turtle toes to go along with the 2 turtle fingers. So, and he's got the bandana, the orangey yellow bandana with the 2 straps that are made with a soft plastic type material. And, you know, I think that looks pretty good. He's got the whited out animated type eyes like we've seen with all the figures in the line. He's got the big goofy smile because he's Michelangelo. So again, I think they've done a good job here of capturing the character's likeness from the cartoon. So Alfred here stands just a bit under 7 inches tall, about 6 3/4 inches tall, I would say. And then Michelangelo comes in just a little bit over 5 inches tall. Okay, so here's a look at all 4 turtles together, and all 4 of these turtles do scale almost exactly as they appear in the cartoon. I've seen some people complaining that Michelangelo seems small, but that is how he is portrayed in the cartoon. You know, they portray him as the younger kid, so they made him shorter. That's one of the things I really like about these turtle figures is they didn't just use the same body and give them different color bandanas. Each turtle is unique, has different size, shape, and you know, just characteristics. So they've done a great job of capturing that with these action figures. And I would say the scale between these 4 figures is near identical to how they appear in the cartoon. And the only one that was smaller than Michelangelo in the animated movie was Robin, and you can see here that Michelangelo is just a bit taller than Robin. And here's a comparison of the NECA Toys Michelangelo from the 80s animated TV series, and you can see that one is taller. And then for Alfred, here's a comparison of the other Bat figures. And again, I think the scale between these characters is identical to how they appeared in the animated movie. In that movie, Batman was taller than Alfred, but Alfred was taller than Batgirl and definitely taller than Robin. So I think they've done a great job with the overall scale with these characters. Now here's a comparison of the DC Collectibles 6-inch scale Alfred from Batman the Animated Series. And you can see this one definitely had more of an influence from the comics in my opinion, and the animated style was quite different between the two. And then for one final Alfred comparison, here's a look at the recent DC Multiverse Alfred figure that Mattel released. And these two are pretty close to the same height. Okay, so now let's go over articulation, starting with Michelangelo. So he can turn his head to the left and to the right, and he doesn't get much in the way of back and forth movement or head pivot, so you basically just get the rotation on this one. Now with the arm, he can get his arm out about that much, and you can rotate the arm all the way around. You do not get a bicep swivel with this one. You only get a single hinged elbow, so he can bend his elbow that much, and then you get rotation there at the elbow. You get rotation with the hands, and you get a little bit of up and down movement. They just kind of plug in with ball joints, so you get some movement with that. And then you do have basically a midsection joint on these figures, but because you have the outer shell, that pretty much completely nullifies that articulation. So you really don't get much in the way of any kind of midsection articulation with these turtle figures. And then you can do the splits good on this figure. You can get the leg forward pretty good, and you can do the leg back. You don't really have a thigh swivel. You can rotate a little bit on that ball joint, but again, you don't have an actual thigh swivel. You do get a double jointed knee, so he can bend his knee about that much there. And then with the feet, you've got up and down movement, and you do have ankle pivot with these. And as I said before, no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. And Alfred has pretty much the same type of articulation. You can turn the head to the left and the right. Again, really no up or down movement, no head pivot. With the arm, you can get the arm out good there. You've got good rotation, no bicep swivel, rotation with the elbow, and then you can bend at the elbow about that much. You can rotate with the hands, and you got a little bit of up and down movement with the hand. And then you do have a waist swivel, but you don't really actually get much rotation there. You can just rock back and forth a little bit there, and there's no ab crunch or anything. He can do the splits that much. You can get the leg forward pretty good there, and then you can do the leg out and back. Again, no thigh swivel, but you do get a little more rotation on this one than you do with the turtle figure there around that ball joint. So just to note that. And then you do get a double hinge knee, so good bending there at the knee. And then with the feet, you've got up and down movement, and you do have ankle pivot with Alfred as well. And once again, no peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. So overall, I like these figures. I mean, if you're a fan of the animated movie, I think you're definitely going to want to check these out. The attention to detail, the likeness, the scale, I think is all dead on to how these characters appeared in the movie. I love how the turtles are very unique from one another, and you have good accessories as well. Now, Articulation, there are better Turtle and DC figures out there that have probably better articulation than these, but I wouldn't say these have bad articulation either. And again, if you're a fan of the animated movie, I think this is something you're going to want to check out. Now, this set is available now. It is a GameStop exclusive. We'll have a full image gallery up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. Also, be sure to check back soon for my review of the final set with Shredder and Ra's al Ghul. That'll be coming up either tomorrow or the following day. As always, like the video, leave a comment, and until next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.